discussing Hanni's post about Japan, notably the caption, Cignature's Jeewon's appearance on a show has people really mad at the company. ZEROBASEONE's Zhang Hao is trending and even has his own protest trucks. The question of male idols wearing padded clothing, 50/50's unanswered questions debunked by Dispatch, and so much more in today's episode of Totally Legit K-pop News with cut that out. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with the friends you don't have, and you can of course always skip through to whatever subject interests you the most by using the time bar below. The timestamps? I don't know. Okay, so let's start off with Hanni, who is in the news because of her post about Japan. So recently, NewJeans were in Japan for Summer Sonic, and I've only heard good things about their performance, though I wasn't able to watch it myself. However, Hanni posted this to Twitter, our short trip to Sushi Land, and we can see a collage of photographs of them in Japan. And this post has 25.4 million views as of now. So what are people saying about this? The first response to this says, actually, there are few sushi restaurants in Japan. So this post really brought into discussion on whether or not it was okay for her to call Japan Sushi Land. So we have this article, how did Japanese netizens react to NewJeans member Hanni calling Japan Sushi Land? It seems there was a Japanese YouTuber who did a poll asking if this was offensive or not, with 18% of people saying that it was and 82% of people saying that it wasn't. So consequently, a lot of people are discussing this, bringing other countries into this. You know, if you called Korea Kimchi Land, or if you called India Curry Land. There are also some people pointing out the fact that there isn't actually any sushi in the photos that she posted. Some people also pointing to the fact that sushi girl is a term that is not very favorable towards Japanese people, used in Korean online forums, basically towards Japanese women, calling them conservative and submissive. So on one side, we have people saying it's really not an issue. Japan is known for having sushi. On the other hand, people are saying it's not appropriate to call a country by the name of its most notable food. So with all the context, you can let me know what you think. And also let me know in the comments below how you would feel if your country was called by its most notable food. I'm trying to think of like Canada and the US, like what are... Putin land? Listen, as someone who's seen some shit, you know, I can picture someone calling a country sushi land, and within their friend group, it's not really a big deal. Or maybe within their friend group, one of their friends would be like, hey, I don't think it's okay that you did that. Or, you know, it would be like an internal discussion. It wouldn't be a really big deal. But when you're posting something for potentially, literally, not even potentially, actually millions of people to see, you absolutely need to think about it. Now, it's not an idol's job to think about these things. It's literally not. I would actually be surprised if most idols even have access to their own accounts. There's always someone making content for idols to post on behalf of idols to create this parasocial relationship, whatever the hell. And I have no doubt in my mind that there's always somebody reviewing posts before they go live. There has to be. There's no way, because otherwise every idol would get canceled every single day, all the time. Because there's just no way. There's just no way. We all have these thoughts and feelings that if millions of people saw, people would of course take issue with. And it's not to say that idols are bad people. It's just, it's the way of the world. We see people on TikTok all the time getting dragged for something that they thought was normal, but other people thought was problematic. That's why idols don't talk to us all that much, because it would happen more and more often. Is Sushi Land the most horrendous thing that could have ever been said? No, but it just sparked these types of debates, which is something that an idol would likely like to avoid, as well as their company as well. I always think back to Tiara, who had their own Twitter account, and they were like subtweeting stuff, and it got them into trouble. And I feel like companies have learned since then to not let their idols have any control over their social media. It just seems logical to me. If I was the CEO of a company, I'd do it too. Again, not that all idols are inherently super problematic and mean, horrible people. I mean, some of them probably are. But again, it's so easy to be misunderstood, taken out of context, or realize that something you thought wasn't super problematic is questionable at the very least. So it's interesting, but as usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So let's talk about Cignature's Jeewon. So most recently, when it comes to the Water Bomb Festival, a lot of idols' outfits are under scrutiny and or praise. So of course, we've had aespa, who was praised for having more modest outfits at the festival, for covering up a little more, which is a little weird. But then Karina was pinpointed in particular because she was wearing a compression bra. And some people were like heavily discussing how she was a fraud because of this. Then of course we had Kwon and B, which got me into a lot of trouble with my last video. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to talk about it because talking about it in the last video is probably what did it anyways. But now we can add Cignature's Jeewon to the list because she recently appeared on Tak Jae-hoon's show, which aired on August 24th. However, people were mad even way before this because there was a teaser release, and within the teaser, people were saying that she was made to feel uncomfortable. The host basically says to her, "You are known to have one of the best physiques in idol history. Why didn't you perform at the Water Bomb Festival?" So people were just mad at the question and the fact that she looked like she was covering herself after being asked the question. And of course, people saying that no matter the context, even if it's evil editing, even this, even that, like, what was said, so I don't think the editing could really help the situation in any shape, way, or form. So this made fans angry, and to kind of pile onto it, not too long after, Cignature did end up performing at the Water Bomb Festival. So you may be wondering, isn't that a great opportunity to perform at the Water Bomb Festival? Isn't that super great exposure? Like, people literally love the Water Bomb Festival. Technically, yes, but after seeing a picture that was posted of them, we can see everyone dressed in more or less like okay, I have to stop myself there because people were like, oh, all the members were dressed in a very fun summer vibe, right? Absolutely not. These girls are literally all dressed in denim. What about water-soaked denim is fun and summery to you? I don't know. I personally would send a protest truck to the company about that, but that's just me. Otherwise, we can see that Jeewon is the only one who is kind of dressed scantily clad, which in and of itself, of course, is not problematic to fans. It's super important to point that out. If she wants to dress like that, of course, we support it. However, given the context of what fans perceived to her being uncomfortable at the question of being at the Water Bomb Festival, on the basis that she has such a great physique, piling on of why people are mad at the company. Perhaps if that teaser hadn't come out, no one would have really batted an eye to this, but alas, here we are. C9 is disgusting. Yesterday, a video came out where Jeewon got by old men who asked why she doesn't go to Water Bomb Festival. Instead of protecting Jeewon, C9 sent Jeewon to a Water Bomb Festival with the most revealing outfit in her group. So yesterday when I searched Jeewon on X/Twitter, the top posts were indeed people complaining about C9 Entertainment, but also slow-mo fan cams of her. And after seeing the slow-mo fan cams of her, it like immediately clicked to me. I'm like, this is obviously intentional. With aespa, of course, we saw compression garments. So we do have proof that a company could, if they wanted to, prevent something like that from happening. Now, whether or not an idol has a say in that is a totally different question. I think that's why people are bringing it up. But of course, the company wanted this to be a topic because you cannot ask a K-pop idol what the company doesn't want you to ask the K-pop idol. We've seen this time and time again in press and media in general. Sometimes people are given a list of things they can and cannot ask somebody. I have no personal experience with this. It's just things I've heard. Think back to the past where this wasn't a thing. Specifically, American female celebrities like Britney Spears were asked the most horrendous and personal questions live on TV. And they just had to go with it because if they didn't, then they would be considered prudes. They would be considered this, you know? You just had to kind of go with it. So I'm, in a way, very glad that these protections are put in place these days. But in that sense, it also becomes very clear when a company wants something to be a topic of discussion. Actually, does anyone remember that weird German interview with Blackpink where they were trying to kind of expose them as controlled robots and how the interviewer kept being interrupted by the manager to stop asking such personal questions and talk more about their music? That was such a wild time because I remember watching it and being like, oh my god, literally thinking that Blackpink was inauthentic for not wanting to answer these questions and thinking it was so weird that the manager was intervening. Come to find out that's probably super common practice. Blackpink was on German TV just now. They did a short interview, but the questions weren't really appropriate. They asked about the hard K-pop life and depression in the business, to which the girls couldn't really answer. The channel then pointed out that the managers interrupted their critical questions all the time. There was literally a clip where Rosie was trying to answer something kind of awkwardly, and the manager was like, let's talk more about Kill This Love. I digress. Obviously, we always hope that idols are totally on board and willing participants to these things, especially when it comes to a member who is given a more sultry concept. But I do understand why people are skeptical because we have had idols in the past who were part of these more sultry concept groups, and they just straight out said how they weren't comfortable with it, how they didn't want to dress like that, they didn't want to dance like that, but they felt pressured to go along with it. So I understand why people are feeling cautious about the situation, especially since K-pop as a whole, like the whole ecosystem of K-pop has more or less pushed out sexy concepts. We don't really see them anymore, and I think that's for good reason. But anyways, the whole show ended up airing, and again, there's just more and more to pile onto the situation. Now, of course, we get to see Jeewon in all her cute glory. I think she has a very infectious smile, but we get to see the bigger context of this situation. So, of course, they bring up the Water Bomb Festival, but they also have it printed out pictures of her fan cams. Now, it seems the guy is alluding to the fact that it's a shame that these aren't the actual fan cams that they're just still images. And we can see her like shaking the image to kind of imitate the nature of a live video. But if people weren't happy before, they're definitely extra not happy now. Just bringing the photos of her fan cams, even down to the thumbnail, people are just very unhappy with the situation. So I'm going to be honest right here. When it comes to mass reporting videos, if it doesn't go, actually, with the issue I had in my last video, I don't even know anymore. On a general basis, unless it goes against YouTube's community guidelines, you're really not going to be able to get the video taken down. You might feel offended by the video. You might feel protective of Jeewon, but looking at guidelines and policies, there's nothing in the video that goes against them. So I would say it's definitely a waste of time. Trust me, I've been on the other end of this many times of people wanting to report my videos because they don't like that I don't like a song. Well, not liking a song is not a crime. And it also doesn't go against YouTube's policies. So it is really a waste of time. I would generally praise YouTube for this system, but I did have issues in my last video, which they indeed admitted that to themselves was a mistake on their end. So I'm a little confused. Of course, as of now, C9 Entertainment hasn't released any statement whatsoever. And I don't think that they would, because again, I feel like this was their intention from the very beginning. K-pop companies have done this forever. The entertainment industry has done this since the beginning of time. And of course, we always hope that idols are willing participants and they enjoy this and want to do this. But we know sometimes that they aren't, and I understand the caution. However, it's a possibility that this doesn't affect her in any way whatsoever. And there's also a possibility that 10 years from now she'll come back and be like, hey, I didn't really appreciate this. So it's definitely a tricky situation. As usual, let me know what you think in the comments. In terms of mass reporting, I would try to save that for something that's actually egregious, something that actually violates something. Though, actually, I kind of have beef with the Red app right now. Send as many emails and reports as you want. Overflow the server. See if I give a shit. Dear YouTube reviewer, if you're reviewing this video for whatever reason, maybe I didn't mean it and I'm sorry. Let's move on to my new favorite segment in my news show, Today in Protest Trucks. So we have Zhang Hao from ZB1 who is in the news for mistreatment allegations. Kind of. No, I think people would agree. I'm really sorry about my pronunciation of this. I'm pronouncing it the way it's written in Korean. So previously it was reported that he had COVID and thusly would not be able to attend the in-person fan signs that are scheduled for the next couple of days. With the online one, of course, being able to be postponed, which sounds simple enough, right? Wrong. You just failed your first test. Now, to the untrained eye, this doesn't seem anything out of the ordinary. We've obviously seen like actual concerts going forward without one member. Someone is injured, someone is ill. Literally most recently, Blackpink, being a 4-member girl group, went on as 3 members because Jisoo couldn't attend. Girly was sick. And you know what? It's not ideal. It's really not the most ideal situation. I think everyone is aware of it. The company is aware of this. Holding a concert without every single member, it sucks. Holding a fan sign without every single member, horrible. When I went to C17, it was unclear whether or not Hoshi was going to be able to even make it into the country. We're losing the point here. It's obviously incredibly devastating because a lot of people put their hearts and souls into these events on the fan side, and these things don't happen every day. You're not going to be able to see this specific group in concert every day. You're not going to be able to meet this person every single day in a fan sign. I mean, some people are rich as hell and go to all the fan signs. That's not my circus though. But with concert fan signs, events, whatever the case may be, you likely spend a lot of money. So I can definitely sympathize and imagine that it's earth-shattering and so disappointing when it doesn't go the way you expected it to. When one member is left out, when someone is sick, when someone is injured. But this is definitely not the only time this has ever happened. So why are people mad that Zhang Hao cannot make it to his in-person fan signs? I think under normal circumstances, people would be more or less understanding of this fact. Of course, you'd be hurt inside your heart, but he's sick and that's that. He needs to rest. However, people think that he's already a very mistreated member within ZB1. So here are some of the reasons that people think he's mistreated. No promotion for Zolo, which was his solo song. Apparently they didn't include it in the FanCon event. Not retweeting his magazine post, getting his Japanese name wrong, not postponing the fan sign when Hao is sick. It's so obvious that W1 hates Hao, postpone the fan sign. So of course, paired with the mistreatment allegations, this starts trending everywhere. So we see the Korean hashtag was trending. It was also trending on Weibo. And now we can even see postpone the fan sign is also trending. So naturally with all this going on, it was only fitting to also send some protest trucks to the company. Here we have the protest truck in all its glory. ZB9 is one. We of course have an email template as well. I'm actually curious to take a look at these demands. Urgent attention required regarding unreasonable arrangement of ZEROBASEONE fan signs. Dear Wake One Entertainment, we urgently request your immediate attention for the unreasonable arrangement of ZEROBASEONE's fan sign event scheduled for August 26th and 27th. As previously announced, ZEROBASEONE's official center, Zhang Hao, has tested positive, resulting in the decision to proceed with face-to-face offline fan signs without his participation. This decision deeply concerns us and many fellow fans. First, this plan may jeopardize the health and safety of all participants due to the potential risk of transmission. So I definitely saw this a lot, like, sure, he's the only one who tested positive, but what about the other members? Are we really sure that this is a safe thing to do? Second, this approach of excluding Zhang Hao from fan signs raises concerns about unfair treatment to both Zhang Hao himself and the fans. It is emotionally and financially unfair, especially to those who had to arrange their travel to Korea to meet Zhang Hao. Therefore, we suggest rescheduling the in-person fan signs on the 26th and 27th due to health concerns. Another alternative is organizing individual fan sign events for Zhang Hao. Furthermore, we strongly object to the proposed solution of having Zhang Hao sign the album separately to bridge the emotional disconnect caused by his absence. This solution greatly encourages upon his resting time, which would adversely affect his recovery and overall well-being. We urge the company to prioritize ensuring Zhang Hao's resting period during this time. From what I've heard from a lot of tweets, I don't know if this was confirmed anywhere, he's still going to sign a bunch of albums to at least people can have the albums. As fans of the group center, we have shown unwavering support to both ZB1 and Zhang Hao's success. Zhang Hao's fans significantly contributes to total sales of official goods from the debut album to magazines. In return, we expect that Zhang Hao be fairly treated and our concerns be addressed accordingly. We are looking forward to your positive response and effective solutions. We really hope that requirements mentioned above can be fully implemented in the future ZEROBASEONE activities. Some fandoms have their shit together like that. They like outlined what they wanted. They're spreading this like, here guys, email the company. I always say this, we need K-pop stans in politics, and that sounds horrible. We need this energy in the world. Bless Zhang Hao and his fans and his health and them wanting to meet him. I think that's totally valid. If I were going to a fan sign for ATEEZ and Jungho wasn't there, which Jungho has not been to a couple concerts, I believe. I've seen some fan cams. Yeosang literally hugging the air. I'd absolutely lose it. Like, yes, we're all understanding that he needs to recover his ankle. Knee. Both. But I'm not gonna lie, that would absolutely break my heart and I would probably think about that moment for the rest of my life. The concert where Jungho wasn't there. All that to say, I would love this energy for other things too. I feel like in general, people are so passive to the mistreatments that they face in their own lives. We could really take this energy to just make the world a better place. Can you imagine? We can fight for Zhang Hao and me. And the unfair mistreatment that YouTube has placed upon me. You catch my drift? Anyway. But it does bring up the question. I wanted to have a genuine discussion about this because like we said, for the people who are traveling to Korea to meet him, if we think about this, now I don't know the whole structure of this fan sign. I presume you're meeting every single member. It's not like one of those fan signs where it's an online fan sign where you're maybe meeting one or two members or you're just meeting one member. I don't know how it really works. Let's say you're meeting every single member. You have all these people coming to meet all the members. So-and-so is also traveling to Korea to meet another member. And so-and-so also traveled. So-and-so spent a lot of money. So-and-so did this. So-and-so did that. We have all these different people with all these different wants and needs out of this fan sign. Maybe some people even taking off of work. Let's say the company postpones the fan sign to a week from now. Well, the people who came to Korea, are they still going to be here? Can they take more time off work? Can they extend their flight? Can they do all those things? Can they afford to do all those things? Is it fair to everyone else to postpone the entire fan sign for one member? Of course, if there are details that I'm missing, let me know. It's just a genuine conversation I wanted to have. Because I've also had a thought like, if I were going to go to a concert and one of the members isn't going to be there, I would rather have the perfect experience, but then having booked the hotel and the transportation that is non-refundable and time off work and so on, to have the event actually postponed, I probably wouldn't be able to go to the postponed date. So if it's between getting something out of it or getting nothing out of it, I wonder, let me know what you think in the comments. Because of course we also have the option of him doing like a separate fan sign. I don't know if they would do that in person for just one person or if they would just add extra offline ones. I don't know. As usual, let me know what you think in the comments. So let's move on to Taeyong. So there's this recent photo of him going around where his pectoral muscles are pectoral muscling. Basically, people are pointing out that his chest looks a lot fuller than it usually does, with comparison photos being thrown into the mix. Now, when it comes to idols' bodies, it's always such a weird conversation to have. Now, female idols, of course, there are female idols who wear padded bras, there are female idols who wear hip pads, there are female idols who have BBLs, there are female idols who don't have BBLs. I promise you, I have a list. I dare not say this list out loud for fear. I've been unproblematic lately, okay? Don't tempt me. But I digress. There's literally a quote-unquote fix for anything. So people think that Taeyong is actually wearing these fake muscles. This is blatantly obvious. It's hilarious how it's exactly the shape of the silicone. Seeing this pic, he does need a bit of volume. So we do have some people like actually agreeing with us that he needs some volume. I think that's quite rude, isn't it? Like seeing an idol with and without hip pads and be like, well, she doesn't. Who asked you though? But of course we do have some people defending him, being like, no, he actually has pectoral muscles. You guys are I don't think it really matters, to be honest. The beauty standards in K-pop are absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of people do point out, trigger warning talking about weight. These companies expect these idols to be super, super tiny and have a butt and have pecs. And especially for male idols, I've definitely heard that they're not allowed to work out even too much, because if you have too much muscle, you're going against the beauty standard, right? You need to be slim enough. Similarly for female idols, they have to be skinny enough but still have volume in certain places. But it's very counterintuitive, because to have very prominent pectoral muscles, you need to work out a lot, right? And to have a butt, you kind of need to eat a little bit more, right? Is he wearing fake muscles under his shirt? Who knows? In terms of muscles, I've definitely seen idols right before a photo shoot do a bunch of push-ups to like get that pump in. Maybe he has a natural pump. Maybe he's wearing fake muscles. Who knows? I'm not accusing him of anything, but I do appreciate these types of stories coming out because it can put things into perspective for some people. Yes, idols definitely seem like they're perfect, and they can be perfect to us, okay? But there's a lot of things that go into being an idol that we don't know about, like very subtle surgeries, padding in some areas. Ever notice how everyone's hairlines are so perfect? Like, I'm literally about to do a PhD research thesis on how to fix my hairline. I don't get it. They have all these tips and tricks to literally look perfect. And I don't think it's harmful for us to be made aware of these things. Whether or not it's confirmed, we can defend him all we want. Maybe he does have huge pecs. Maybe his pectoral muscles are gigantic. I have no clue. But it does bring up the prospect that this is a possibility that some idols do this. And I just personally think it's okay to be made aware of that, because we're always going to try to compare ourselves to other people, thinking that a certain body type is achievable naturally, when a lot of these things just straight up are not. But of course, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I had so much written, but the video is already 1 hour and 8 minutes long, and I don't know that I have time to do the 50-50 fact check by dispatch. Let me know like how disappointed you are, like on a scale of not at all to protest struck. JK LOL, I came back. I found it in me to come back and do this. I was like, I literally can't leave you guys hanging when I mentioned it in the intro that I would talk about this. Mind you, I could have cut it out of the intro, but it was just such a good flow. Without going way too far back into the story, 50-50 want out of their contract with the tract. Not everyone is happy with this decision, and SBS have aired an episode of Unanswered Questions featuring 50-50's story, which garnered so much backlash from people because they say it was an emotional retelling of this story. The facts weren't there, to the point where Dispatch actually came and fact checked a lot of this stuff, and SBS released an apology. So let's take a look at the claims that were fact checked by Dispatch. So it seems that within the episode of the show, somebody said that the CEO of a tract, Jung Jun, was never present at the members' monthly evaluation. So we all know through documentaries and what people have said that trainees tend to have monthly evaluations where important people come and watch them perform, dancing, all of that jazz. This is to get an idea of what potential the trainee has, of whether you want to let them go or have them join the final lineup of a group. So presumably this is a quite important process. So to say that the CEO was never present kind of paints a specific picture. Dispatch, however, revealed that over the span of 2 years, there had been a total of 23 monthly evaluations, and they provide a photo of one of the evaluations where we can see the CEO, and they make note of the fact that the CEO was present, but the person who alleged that he was never there wasn't actually present at this one. They also provide additional evidence of people's text messages. So it seems that the CEO was having hiccups. So people within the room were texting each other to be like, sorry about the CEO's hiccups, please understand. So that's the first thing that was fact checked. The second thing, and this is something that a lot of people were really upset about, is the fact that it was revealed in the show that the CEO forced the members to throw out food that was given to them by their families. So this did technically happen, but it wasn't the CEO of Attract, but rather an employee of the Givers. It seems that the girls were put on a specific diet that they had agreed to, all but one member, but they weren't losing any weight, so they did an investigation in the dorm room and they found a bunch of snacks. Apparently there was a pack of seaweed that was given to a member by their parents, but other than that, it was just a bunch of snacks. It wasn't homemade food that a lot of people were made to believe, but there was indeed an instance where an employee of the Givers came into their dorm, found all their snacks, made them put it all in the middle of the living room, and then forced them to throw it out while yelling at them. There was also allegations that the company never provided enough food, but they said that the girls agreed to a specific type of diet and they show evidence of a detox plan. The third thing that was fact checked is this document that shows that there was $0 made in album revenue. This was apparently an error on the Givers' behalf. Dispatch provided text messages of them saying they'll have to explain to the parents why the payment has been late, but it seems that the $0 in album revenue and so on was rectified in the end. And then lastly, there are allegations that the members themselves would be responsible for paying the company's previous debt of sorts. So this was a point that was a little confusing at first. Basically, Jung Hong-jun, the CEO of Attract, was given an advance of a specific amount of money prior to 50/50's debut. So there was an allegation that 50/50 themselves were responsible for that advance payment that the CEO received, and that before the members could even get paid, they would have to make up that debt for him. Dispatch, however, on their end are saying that without this payment, the girls wouldn't have been able to debut at all, but that they're also not responsible for paying back the CEO's debt in regards to that advance payment that he received. They're responsible to pay back their debut debt, all the money it took to put into them to then be able to debut, but not that specific advance payment. But it seems an insider even told Dispatch the advance payment is the label's debt and not the artist's debt. So this is what Dispatch has revealed. Of course, we still have the potential trial to go through to get to even more nitty-gritty details and to see where this all really ends off. But SBS did release a response to the backlash that they have been receiving because it was really not good. I didn't read a single good thing about Unanswered Questions. The episode of Unanswered Questions, Billboard and Girl Groups, which aired on August 19th, is a program created to think about what it takes to establish sustainable K-pop through the so-called 50/50 crisis. First of all, we deeply apologize for unintentionally hurting the hearts of many people working in the K-pop industry and fans who love K-pop during the broadcast as opposed to the production team's intention. We will also listen heavily to the words and criticisms from organizations such as the Korea Management Federation and the Korea Entertainment Producers Agency. In addition, we would like to clarify that this program is not intended to take a certain party's side among the stakeholders. Regarding some of the topics that are currently controversial, we will fill in the parts that fall short with a follow-up broadcast through additional investigations. Thank you for showing interest in Unanswered Questions, and we will repay the support of the viewers in a more in-depth investigation. It's not uncommon to watch a documentary and then you see a YouTube video, you see professionals coming forward and be like, actually, that's not true. But I think the issue with this and the reason why they're coming out with an apology is because viewers continue to send complaints to the Korea Communications Standard Commission as well. According to the KCSC, on August 21st, a total of 175 complaints were received regarding the episode of Unanswered Questions that aired on August 19th. The KCSC stated, "We are currently reviewing the contents regarding the complaints about unanswered questions. The complaints will be registered to the KCSC and will be transferred to the relevant department for review." So these are the potential things being reviewed, right? So we have broadcasting must not distort the truth. Broadcasting must maintain fairness and balance. They must not give an advantage to a specific person or group or mislead the facts by using production technology or editing technology. It should not mislead viewers by conveying one side's argument, and there should be no discrimination in programming, excluding religious broadcasts in relation to gender, age, occupation, religion, creed, class, religion, race, region. So that's where we're at with 50/50. I did want to add a little comment response section to this news show because sometimes I receive specific comments that I feel like I need to get off my chest by responding to. Maybe it's a nice comment, maybe it's constructive criticism. I always want to improve the news show. I got a fancy XLR wire, I don't know if you can tell, and I can't really show you. I got a fancy audio interface system. So I hope you noticed that the audio sounded better, okay? But I digress. There are other areas in life where one can improve, always, right? Girl, you only report on BTS when it's negative, never when they go viral or do something notable, which is literally happens all the time. You never reported on Jungkook's records or even his dance trends on TikTok. No word on Jimin being the first K-pop soloist to be #1 in Hot 100. No mention of their 10-year celebration that took over Seoul. No talk about Arm's interview in El Paris that went viral in Korea. Look, I get you don't rate them, and that's totally fine, but why include their negative views only, which is very rare? It feels like you overcompensate because BTS is the top group by never mentioning their accomplishments. I mean, it is a news show, and this is my new and improved news show. If you don't know, I took about like a year break from news, and I used to do news all the time. So to say that I never talk about BTS, I literally started doing news yesterday. I literally just got back into doing news, and I happened to mention BTS twice. I feel like this person just saw the titles of my last 2 videos and decided that I hated BTS. Not unheard of. Everyone accuses me of hating every single group ever. But where is this person when I'm literally reviewing every single BTS release, even down to the multiple solo releases during my end of month review? Inevitably, the bigger the fandom is, the more you're going to be accused of hating them. And the more you're accused of hating them, the more chances you have of being slammed across Twitter for being xenophobic, even though you didn't even mention BTS. I literally once said how second gen paved the way through their failures of trying to make it into the American market. Guess who's being called xenophobic all across Twitter? Bitch, me! And these things are not fun to deal with. I'm just tired of constantly being accused of hating a group and at the very least being neutral towards a group, because that's not a crime. I talk about a lot of different K-pop idols and I don't know every single one of them. Like we just talked about Cignature's Jeewon today. Do I particularly love Cignature's music? Not really. Is that a moral failing on my end? More than likely. But do I hate Jeewon? No. Is anyone going to accuse me of hating her? Absolutely not. But I digress. I'm glad we could talk that out together. Because I'll be honest, I have zero desire and or interest to talk about records being broken. Actually, where were you when BTS were nominated for a Grammy? I was literally making a video about that. However, if you guys want, in my old news show, I had this section called Kpop Shenanigans, which is basically fun little things that have happened in K-pop this week. If you guys want to submit fun things that happened in K-pop during the week, you could send it to me on Instagram. You can tag me on TikTok. I took it out of my new news show because I didn't think it was really anything special. But hey, if you guys want more positivity, which I think I'm positive as hell, I don't know, but if you need more positive, lighthearted, fluffy, nothing too serious news, I don't mind bringing back Kpop Shenanigans and just, speed running through the news and not going super into detail of it. So let me know what you think about that, because in today's Kpop Shenanigans, I have Stray Kids who are going to perform at the 2023 VMAs. So we released the show Hot or Hot with Hyuna as her first guest. Everglow announced their US tour. Americans, as usual, getting everything. And Jimin quietly donates 100 million Korean won to educational facilities. So let me know about that. I don't mind adding it back. If it's hurting your heart, I'll add it back if you want me to. But you guys have to submit some stuff because I don't really know what's interesting. So that is basically it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. If my face looks weird, it's because I got some moles removed off of it. So I have blotches of tinted sunblock on the places that got it removed, and it definitely looks a little weird. I didn't want to wear my glasses because it would sit on some of the spots, so just a little in case, because I really don't know what I look like right now. But I also have the face filter on pretty high, so I'd be surprised if you don't see anything, actually. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. These are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. As for me, I'm gonna get going. Bye! The past 3 days I've been complaining that there's no K-pop news and I couldn't make any videos, and I really missed you guys. I'm like, my people need me. Because I feel like I don't just give you the news. I also probably talk a lot, maybe too much, and offer you some companionship. I don't know. That's how I see it. I love really long videos. I don't even care what people are talking about. Just to feel like you have someone there. I don't know. Someone literally commented that I talk too much. I'm like, it's You clicked on a 30-minute video. What did you expect? But now this video is probably going to be so long because there's so much like that happened within just a day that we have to talk about.